Hello world, welcome to episode 40 of the Jimmy Canz Show. Classic Supercard Retrospective coming at you. Let's get into it. Survivor Series 1988. All right, WWF event held November 25th, 1988, and for the second year in a row, coming to you from suburban Cleveland, Richfield, Ohio, at the Richfield Coliseum. Attendance was 13,500. It was broadcast live on pay-per-view and later released on home video, courtesy of Coliseum Video. Action was called by Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura. It's a Survivor Series 4-match card. Obviously, longer matches being a elimination Survivor Series tag style event. So let's get into it. And the Survivor Series tradition they started last year continues as we get one thing announced and another thing delivered. I know cards always subject to change, but Survivor Series, more so than not. All right, this year they decided to go with a co-captain's motif as opposed to last year. Let's get into the opening contest. All right, it pitted the team co-captain by Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. They were joined by the Blue Blazer, Don the Morocco, and Sam Houston. Oh no, wait a minute. It's Survivor Series and it strikes again. So the team was changed as Morocco gave his notice and left the WWF prior to the event. So they turned around and filled his spot with one half of the Killer Bees, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. They faced the team co-captained by former Intercontinental Champion, the Honky Tonk Man, with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart in his corner, and Outlaw Ron Bass. They were joined by Dangerous Danny Davis and Greg the Hammer Valentine, who were also managed by Jimmy Hart, and Bad News Brown. All right. So Beefer gets the first elimination in this one, putting Davis to sleep. Bad News next eliminates Brunzell before he is accidentally hit by one of his partners. He does his Bad News thing and just leaves and gets himself counted out. Sam Houston goes down to Ron Bass next, and then Valentine forces the Blue Blazer to submit to the figure four. So Honky and Beefcake then are going at it, and both get counted out. So that leaves just the Ultimate Warrior against Bass and Valentine. Well, this is 1988 WWF. This is rising Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior we're talking about. So what do you expect? Bing, bang, boom. He pins Bass, and then about 20 seconds later, he pins Valentine. So your sole survivor, the Ultimate Warrior. Second match was our ginormous 20-man tag team Survivor Series match. Remember that in a tag version of a Survivor Series match, that the entire team is eliminated after a decision, not just the individual who has been either pinned or submitted or DQ'd or counted out or whatever. So the heel team was co-captained by WWF Tag Team Champions Demolition, Axe and Smash, and they had Master Fuji in their corner. They were joined by the Conquistadors, Uno and Dos, the fabulous Rougeau brothers, Jacques and Raymond Rougeau, who are now managed by the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Bobby the Brain Heenan gives us the latest addition to his Heenan family in the form of the Brain Busters, which consisted of Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, fresh from JCP, and the Bolsheviks, Boris Zukov and Nikolai Volkov, who were managed by the Doctor of Style Slick. The face team was co-captained by the Powers of Pain, Warlord and Barbarian. They were joined by the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, making their WWF pay-per-view debut, the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, and the British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy Smith, and the Young Stallions, Paul Roma and Jim Powers. Hart Foundation get the first elimination, taking the Rudos out. Young Stallions continue to fall down the card as they are eliminated next by the Bolsheviks. So I think the only thing that would have been, worse than having been eliminated by the Bolsheviks would have been being eliminated by the conquistadors. But what are you going to do? The Rockers then take out the Bolsheviks, and the Brainbusters take out the Heart Foundation next. A bit of a surprise there. Not taking anything away from the Busters or whatever, but Foundation was a strong team at that point in time. They were former tag team champions and everything, and then the Busters are just coming in. I guess they're trying to get them over, but anyway. And then the Busters and the Rockers get double disqualified. So the Bulldogs get eliminated next by demolition. And then the double switch happened, all right? Fuji turns on demolition here, okay? He pulls down the rope, which causes Smash to go spilling to the outside, and it gets counted out. Axe comes over, questioning Fuji, why did you pull the rope down, yada, yada, yada. This makes Fuji angry, and he hits Axe with the cane. And then demolition, turns around and beat up Fuji, slam him to the ground, and storm off. So you got a disheveled Fuji laying on the ground there, and lo and behold, the powers of pain come over and help Fuji to his feet, dust him off, and everything, and stick him and hit their corner, jump back in the ring, eliminate the Conquistadors for the win, and then go on to celebrate with Fuji. So now Demolition are babyface, and the powers of pain are heels, managed by Fuji. So the crowd was a little confused, as what was going on here. I think the crowd almost looked at it as if like Fuji was turning babyface. No, that wasn't what happened. It gets cleared up post-match with a backstage interview, but that is kind of what went down there. So your sole team survivors were the powers of pain. Third on the card, team co-captain by Jake the Snake Roberts and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, joined by Junkyard Dog, Tito Santana, and Ken Patera. Nope, Survivor Series strikes again. JYD left the Fed, and he's replaced by the other half of the Killer Bees, B. Brian Blair. No, wait, Survivor Series strikes yet again, as Blair gave his notice and left the WWF as well. And he's replaced by none other than Scott Casey. Huh? Who? Yeah, you heard me right. Scott Casey. Nothing more than an enhancement journeyman who just happened to be in the right place at the right time to get a pay-per-view payday. So their opposition was the team co-captained by the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, with Bobby the Brain Heenan in his corner, and the Canadian strongman Dino Bravo with Frenchie Martin in his corner. They were joined by Ravishing Rick Rude and Harley Race, who were also managed by Heenan and Mr. Perfect. So Patera is the first one eliminated here, courtesy of a rude awakening. Casey goes down next, the hands of Bravo. So now the heels are up 5-3. Santana gets the baby faces on the board, eliminating Race, before he's then eliminated by Andre. So it's now 4-on-2. When Duggan gets himself DQ'd, typical Jim Duggan, that leaves just Jake against the four heels. And Jake does a respectable job considering the numbers game here. He eliminates Rude, courtesy of a DDT, and then Andre gets in there and just blatantly breaks the rules, blatantly is choking Jake repeatedly in the corner, and the number disadvantage combined with Andre's blatant cheating is just too much for Jake. Eventually, Andre is disqualified, but the damage has been done. Perfect comes in and just basically picks the bones more or less and covers a lifeless Roberts for the win. So Bravo and Perfect are your survivors in this one. The main event is now up next. Co-captains, the Mega Powers, which consisted of the WWF champion, Randy Macho Man Savage, and former champion Hulk Hogan with Miss Elizabeth in their corner, joined by Coco Beware, Hillbilly Jim, and the Mighty Hercules. They were facing the team co-captained by the Twin Towers, which consisted of the Big Boss Man and the African Dream Akeem, who were managed by the Doctor-style Slick. They were joined by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who had his bodyguard Virgil in his corner, King Haku, and the Red Rooster, who were both managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan. So Savage takes Rooster out first with a flying elbow. All right. Then Akeem turns around and eliminates Hillbilly. Then in shades of SummerSlam, Boss Man takes out Coco. Because they had just faced at the last pay-per-view in a one-on-one matchup, and it was kind of like rinse and repeat here. So we are now 3-on-4 in favor of the heels when Hercules goes down to DiBiase with just a quick roll-up. So that leaves the Mega Powers 4-on-2, but Savage real quickly jumps in and turns around and rolls up DiBiase and eliminates him. So, this is now 3-on-2, a little bit more even. Boss Man then kind of does his old heel Boss Man thing. He handcuffs Hogan to the bottom rope outside. And in the process of doing all this, ends up getting himself counted out. But even though he's counted out and eliminated, he just, Hogan's cuffed to the ropes, and he just starts battering Hogan with the nightstick. He then gets in the ring and starts battering Savage with the nightstick. He's already eliminated, so what's he got to lose? Well, the official doesn't like this and everything. And so since Boss Man's already eliminated but doing all this thing, the official turns around and decides that he's going to eliminate Akeem via disqualification for what the Boss Man's doing. So now this leaves the heel team, only has Haku left against both of the Mega Powers, but Hogan's still handcuffed to the bottom rope. So Haku starts doing a number on Savage because Hogan's not there for Savage to make a tag. This goes on for quite a while. Savage getting beat down and beat down and beat down. Well, eventually, Hogan's able to, hit Slick, knocking him, basically out, which allows Elizabeth to come over and retrieve the handcuff key from Slick's pocket. She unlocks Hogan, gets up, finally gets the hot tag from Savage, who is almost lifeless. Hogan gets in, does his Hogan thing, bing, bang, boom, big leg drop, 1, 2, 3, winners, the Mega Powers. Hogan then, quickly, goes over, checks on Savage, who's still basically out of it, because, he just got, run through the mill during the time that Hogan was handcuffed. And then Hogan turns around and starts, celebrating with the crowd and celebrating with Liz, and he gives her a big hug and picks her up. Now, Savage is starting to come around, and he turns around and he sees this. He sees Hogan, his arms around Liz, holding her up and everything, and you see the look in Savage's eye. It's the infamous, typical Randy Savage look. And in that look, you could almost hear him go, "What's going on over here?" You just in the look, you can hear it. And, it kind of blows over. They continue to celebrate or whatever, but that moment, it was, again, brilliant storytelling. And, the fans don't even realize all this, is building toward what it's building towards, but it's brilliant. It just adds another layer. So, that was the 1988 Survivor Series, and it was a really solid show, in my opinion. It helped set up so many things without giving us what we get nowadays, which is the same head-to-head matchups month in and month out. It helped set up Andre and Roberts. It set up, the Powers of Pain as heels with Fuji and, a babyface Demolition. It set up the eventual fallout, between the Red Rooster and Heenan. As when Rooster was eliminated, all Heenan did was look at the other, managers and competitors at ringside and just profusely apologize for how rubbish, Rooster was. So, it started that ball in motion. It added that other layer to the Mega Power arc, even though people didn't really realize it at the time. Like I said, it just did all these little things. It helped elevate the Warrior. It helped without the same things again and again and again and again. So, I know I'm sounding, repetitive when I discuss this, but I loved it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think we need to see more of this type of thing in today's product. So on my 10-belt scale, I'm going to give the 1988 Survivor Series a very solid, respectable 7 out of 10. Next up in my classic retrospectives, we're going to take a look back at our very first WCW promoted event. And that would be Clash of the Champions 4 Seasons Beatings. All right. As that took place, just, about a week or so after this, and at the beginning of November of that year, JCP sold control of their territory over to Ted Turner, and WCW was born. So now we get to kind of see what WCW, has in store for us at the gate. You already see that they started to realize some things right from the get-go, as Starrcade isn't taking place on this evening. They decided to not try and go head-to-head with Vince in this regard. So it's already, starting to see a shift and a change in the wrestling industry. So please give the channel a like, a share, and subscribe. I hope wherever you are, you're doing well, you're staying safe, be good to one another, and I will see you all when I see you.